welcome to all of you, dear colleagues and fellow students. So, here you have come to the Center for Marine Research in Rovinj, which is one of the three major centers that works studying the ecosystem of the Adriatic Sea. We have one here in Rovinj, one in the city of Split, and one in Dubrovnik. And each one is specialized for one area of the Adriatic, but also we have divided on the basis of different topics. Here in Rovinj we are mainly focused on studying the currents of the sea, the quantity of nutrients, the chemical parameters, the microbiological aspect going from viruses, bacteria, phytoplankton, microscopic algae, and to study those extreme phenomena like, for example, the red tides, the mucilage events. I don't know if you heard about them. If you have not, I will try to explain later what they are. On the other hand, our colleagues located on the southern part of the Adriatic, they are more concerned about the theme of fishing and the fishing industry. This is why we have, let's say, a basic knowledge about those concepts, but nevertheless, I will try to give you an idea of the basics of what is really important here in the Adriatic. I don't know if you know, but the Adriatic Sea is actually one of the most productive areas for what concerns fish in the whole Mediterranean. And there are various reasons. The first one is the fact that the Adriatic is a very shallow sea and it receives a lot of nutrients that arrive through rivers coming from the north of Italy. And those waters that are fresh waters rich with nutrients mixed with the pool waters coming from the eastern Mediterranean, giving rise to a very peculiar environment that is able to sustain a very intricate and numerous food web. This food web is then able to feed a huge quantity of fish. The main type of fish that sustains our fishing industry can be divided between sardinas and anchovies. Those are so-called bluefish. They normally grow to the dimension between 13 and 20 centimeters. And the Adriatic has two major stocks of these fish. And they are massively exploited by the fishing industry, both in Croatia, a little bit in Slovenia, but the majority of it in Italy. So they really represent one of the bases of the local economy. What is interesting about those two species of fish is that they occupy a very similar ecological niche. Do you know what an ecological niche is? It's a mixture of conditions that represent like the habitat and the type of food upon which a species can sustain its own life. For example, an ecological niche could be, I don't know, a meadow for a goat or a cow. And if you put a goat and a cow on the same meadow, they go into competition. But here in the Adriatic, between the anchovy and the sardine, something peculiar happens. They have a life cycle that is moved for what concerns time and space. For example, the sardines, they normally spawn in the winter months when it is cold. They normally move in big quantities in the bottom layers of the sea where they reproduce, they produce their offsprings, and then those larvae, they grow by feeding on very small, tiny microscopic organisms. On the other hand, the anchovy, they live more on the western side of the Adriatic, close to the mouth of the river Po, and they do their spawning when it's warm. So they have like a complementary life cycle. However, they both feed upon more or less the same type of food. Normally they swim and they open their mouth and they just work as filtrators, capturing phytoplankton and zooplankton. You know what phytoplankton is? Phytoplankton represents those microscopic organisms that do photosynthesis, like microscopic algae. On the other hand, the zooplankton represents very tiny animals. They can be crabs, they can be larvae of various types of organisms. So you have those two big groups that can be the food for those fish. And they eat both. The only good thing for us is that they eat them in different time periods. I did some research, and it is uncertain on the total amount of fish, of those two groups of fish that we have in the Adriatic. The only thing that we know is that most probably sardinas and anchovies together represent more than 70% of everything which is being caught in the Adriatic. And the order of magnitude of the quantity of those fish is approximately around 500,000 tons. So it's a quite big number, quite a big quantity of fish. And every year our fishermen go out and catch them. However, since Croatia has joined the European Union, it had to make some common strategies with our neighbors, with Italy and Slovenia. And something which is very good for the fish is that, for example, for the sardinas, during the winter months, the fishermen have to stop for 2 months going out at the sea. They receive some money from the European Union. And this allowed the stock of fish in the last couple of years to partially recover. However, you have to take in account that it's not only man that modifies the cycles of this fish. You have many natural aspects that can really have a huge impact. You know that the Adriatic, as I told you, is quite a shallow sea. Therefore, it can change quite a lot its temperature. If you have a very harsh winter, the water can become really cold, and this affects the reproduction of some species, favoring some over others. At the same time, the input of fresh water can also play a major role, changing the whole chain that leads to the development of the phytoplankton and zooplankton. And then there is a third factor, the presence of predators, natural predators that can limit the amount of those fish. And some of those predators are jellyfish. In the 80s, we had an invasion of some very nasty jellyfish called Pelagia noctiluca that had some tentacles with cells that could really be a problem also for humans. If you touch them, they would burn you and damage your skin.